Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Colette here today from Witchways, and today I'm doing something slightly different than what I usually do. I'm going to share 3 spells with actions as magical keys for justice, protection, and equity abundance. And as most of you know, I live in the United States, which right now is a shit show on top of a dumpster fire under this current administration. But for a lot of people, it's been really bad for a long time anyway. I could, of course, go on and get really pissed off, but I'm not going to do that. Let's jump into the magic and the ways that our magic and our actions can make our witchcraft real in the world. This first one is a spell for justice and quick movement within this system. And you can use it politically or you can use it anytime you are involved in this system. And I want to start by saying I am really clear that our justice system has not always been fair and equitable to those who are most vulnerable, but it is one of the tools we can try right now. This spell works with herbs, solar magic, and the power of symbols. And you can start by placing a candle in the middle of your altar or your working space. I'm personally going to use a birthday candle because I think birthday candles represent quick action, and I might choose a warm color or white to represent the sun. In planetary magic, the sun is often used when people are trying to work with justice. So I'm going to use that a little later in the spell, as well as use some herbs that are associated with the sun. So you can start by surrounding that candle that you've lit with some cinnamon. Cinnamon brings quick results and abundant resources for those who are fighting injustice, and it also calls in helpful spirits. You can add some bay leaves to support victory and success. Then add flowers ruled by the sun. I like ones that are large centered with a disc in the center and ray-like petals like sunflower, calendula, chamomile, or daisies. And then you can write a sun symbol on a piece of paper if you like, and you can anoint it with full moon water if you have some around, and tuck the paper under the candle or the herbs. And if you're choosing to use something that's a little bigger than a birthday candle, you could set everything up and then write your intention. Take some time to get really clear on how you want to phrase that intention. If you're doing a birthday candle, you'll probably want to figure out that intention ahead of time. And your intention could be something like, I ask for justice to move swiftly in the case of fill in the blank. And that could be something like to support the rights of trans people or support the rights of people of color. And this helps really focus the sun's energy on exactly where it needs to go and what it needs to illuminate, helping it resolve quickly. And you can speak your intention as you light your candle or whenever during the ritual feels right to you. I think of physical actions as magical keys to bring my witchcraft into the world. And if you feel that way as well, you might make an offering to Hecate if you work with her and have a relationship with her, because after all, she is the holder of magical keys. And here are a few keys that you might consider doing. Check with your state's attorney general to see if they are joining in the lawsuits challenging the injustices by this administration. If they are, email them or phone them and give them some support or thank them. It can be really quick. They're going to be under a lot of pressure to cave. If they're not, urge them to join in those lawsuits or make phone calls to your representatives. If contacting them doesn't feel safe or helpful, and I know there's a lot of places where that's probably true, you can consider donating anonymously if you feel like that's safer, to legal groups who are supporting the rights of queer people, immigrants, BIPOC communities, or reproductive access. And if you're part of a vulnerable group, one thing you might consider adding to this spell is the phrase, may I and mine be safe, and may nothing in this spell bring harm to me. This is a format for protection spells that I've worked with for a really long time, and more recently I've brought this form into groups that I work with. It's simple, it can be done anytime, and I really like working with it around the full moon. Start by picking out a candle. You can use any color that you have available, but a lot of people do really prefer red or black for protection, and put it in some kind of holder that's going to keep it up and away from the other ingredients. Next, take 5 sprigs of rosemary if you're growing it. If not, you can sometimes find fresh sprigs in supermarkets or upper end grocery stores. If you don't have that available where you are, you can use sticks of protective trees, just little twigs, maybe about 6 inches long, of oak, ash, or rowan. If you don't have those, really any tree is a little bit protective. Just talk to it and ask it if it will extend you some protective energy in your spell. Then lay out your 5 sprigs or twigs in a star shape, a pentacle, around the candle with it in the center. And if you want, as you lay each of those sprigs or twigs, you can name a specific group or a specific person or issue that is at risk. Then light your candle and say your intention 5 times. And that can be something like, I ask for protection for those who are most at risk, or I ask for protection for these specific people or families, or I ask for protection around these issues. And put it in your own words and do what you need to do. You know what's happening in your own community. And if you have St. John's wort oil, you can add that by anointing the candle or putting a little bit of it on the herbs or twigs. St. John's wort is one of the most powerful protectors that there is. This spell can, of course, be adapted for other uses, but for this particular use, the magical keys could include donating to a legal defense fund. If it's safe and accessible for you to do so, you can show up and support protest actions. And as always, it's really good to listen and learn from those who are most at risk. I saved this one for last because I mention it pretty often, but it's really simple and I wanted to include it here. Start by picking any abundance herbs that you have on hand or call to you. Then choose a group or more groups that you want to support financially. Light the candle, place the herbs around them, and ask that your donation bring more abundance and support to those groups and that their voices be heard. Then make your donation and let the candle burn all the way out. I think one of the biggest things we can do right now, wherever you are, is to take some form of action, magical and physical. And also another really important thing is to support each other, people in our communities and those beyond our communities as well. And I want to say, I don't have all the answers. I really have not figured out how to live or be in a perfectly equitable way, but it's not about perfection. It's about doing what we can when we can and doing our best and caring for one another. Let me know in the comments if you have other ideas or thoughts. And until next time, stay safe and be well.